physics teacher from IYS school. So first I like to share some instruction, that is take screenshots of every slide and do all the work, all the home tasks in your fair copies. So today we start a new chapter, that is chapter number 13, propagation and reflection of light. And today's topics are rectilinear propagation of light, reflection of light, laws of reflection, and regular and irregular reflection, and spherical mirrors. Okay, so our first topic is rectilinear propagation of light. As by the name you can understand that it is the traveling of light from one place to another, and rectilinear means in a straight line. Propagation means traveling of light. So in a homogeneous transparent medium, or we can say that a uniform transparent medium, light travel in a straight line, and this phenomena is known as the propagation of light. As you can see that in a diagram, in a very first picture, someone is sitting on a dark room and the light is coming through the window. So you can clearly observe that light is coming in a straight line. Okay. Similarly, the rectilinear motion of light also explain the phenomena of making shadow. That is, if light falls on an opaque object, so a part of it do not pass through the opaque object, and that's why a shadow is formed on the either side of the opaque object. As you can see that in a picture, light is coming from the source, and someone is standing over in front of that source, so its shadow can be seen on either side of the wall. And why we can see the shadow? Because light does not pass through that man, and its shadow can be seen on the either side of the wall. So that's how we can say that light is travel in a straight line. Okay, so we are moving toward the next slide, and that is the light ray and the beam of light. So student, it is just the representation of the light, that how light can be represented by the parallel by the ray. So a ray is the direction or path along which the light energy flows. In a diagram, rays are represented by a lines with arrowhead. As you can see that parallel beams can be represented by the straight line. And convergent beam. Beam, what is beam? A collection of rays is known as beam. So as you can see that we have many arrows on a straight line, and they all are meet at a one point. So that is how we represent a convergent beam. And divergent beam, how we represent the divergent? Divergent means scattering. So a light rays is coming from the point source, and they all does not meet at a point, but they are scattered at the different directions. So you can, and the direction represented by the arrowheads. So that is the representation of divergent beam. This is the representation of the convergent beam, and this is the representation of the parallel beam. Okay, I'm in this slide I'm just showing you that how we represent a parallel beam, how we represent convergent beam, and how we represent divergent beams, and the rays show the direction of a path along which the light energy travel. Okay, so the next topic is the reflection of light. So when the light is coming from the source and falls on the non-luminous object, so some part of the light is absorbed by the body, which is called refraction, and the some part of the body, some part of the light is reflect back in a same medium. That phenomena is known as reflection. So, how we define a reflection? When light traveling in one medium strike the boundary of an other medium, a part of it sent back in the same medium. So, this is known as a reflection. So, it can be observed from by looking at the picture that from the torch, a light is coming from a source. So, if the room is dark, so we can clearly see that the light is coming, is traveling in a air. That is, air is the first medium in which the light is traveling. And when this light is strike on the mirror. So mirror is the second medium. Okay, light is coming from the air. Light is traveling in the air. So this is the first medium, and when it is strike on the mirror, so it is a second medium. And when it is strike on a polished smooth surface, so a part of a light is reflect back again in the same medium. Means a light source is coming from the air, it is strike on the mirror, that is second medium, and it again come back to the same medium, that is air. It again come back to the same medium. So that phenomena is known as a reflection. Okay, as in this picture you can also see that the light is coming from the source, and a boy is standing over here with a mirror. So the light strike on the mirror, and after strike on the mirror, it again reflect back with the same medium. So this is known as reflection. And similarly, a light is coming from the source, it strike with the tree, and we can see the tree because the reflected light are enter into our eyes. So that's how we can see the objects around us in the presence of light. So this is known as the reflection of light. Okay, we are moving toward the next slide, that is important terms related to the reflection. So the first term is mirror. So what is mirror? Mirror is a highly polished opaque surface, reflect light strongly, and the image that are formed due to this characteristic of reflection follow certain laws. Just in a very simple words, mirror is something which is highly polished opaque surface which reflect light. Okay, so that is only the thing which you have to remember about the mirror. Now the second is the incident ray. As we have discussed that you can also see in that picture that there is a light box from which the light is coming, and it is strike on the mirror, and a part of the light is reflect back again. So what is incident ray? The ray which is coming from that light box and strike on the mirror. So that ray is known as the incident ray. Okay, I repeat, the ray which coming from the light and strike on the mirror. So this is known as the incident ray. Now the point of incident, the point at which the incident ray strike is called the point of incidence. As I told you that a light ray is coming from a light box. So when it comes from the light box, it strike on the mirror, and the point where that incident ray is strike on the mirror is known as the point of incidence. Okay. So now the next point is reflected ray. The next term is reflected ray. The ray which is reflect back to the same medium is called reflected ray. As you can see that incident ray is coming from the light, it strike at the point of incidence, and a part of a light is reflect back again with the same medium. A part of the light is coming again in a same medium. So that reflected ray is known as the reflected ray. Okay, that light which is coming again in a same medium, so that ray is considered as a reflected ray. So we have discussed that the ray which is coming from the light is the incident ray, and the point at which that ray strike is called the point of incidence, and the reflected ray which is coming from the mirror is known as the reflected ray, which reflect back to the mirror. The ray which reflect back to the mirror is considered as the reflected ray. Now the normal. The normal is the perpendicular which is drawn at the point of reflection. So here perpendicular means the same thing which you have done with the compass and the protractor in your master geometry copies. So this is the same thing, and it is always at 90-degree angle. So perpendicular means that you can see that the dotted line in this diagram. Okay, you can see a dotted line in this diagram, and as well as in the second diagram you can also see a dotted line, and this dotted line represent a normal, or we can say that it is a perpendicular. It is a line which is at 90-degree. Okay, so where we have to draw that normal? At the point of incidence. Okay, at the point of incidence we have to draw that normal. Now the angle of incidence. Okay, student, you can see that by drawing that perpendicular or a normal, we will divide the angle which is formed between the incident ray and the reflected ray. That normal divide the angle which is formed between the incident ray and reflected ray. And by this division, now we have the two angles. That is angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. Okay. So angle I represent angle of incidence. So the angle, how we define that angle? The angle which is formed between the incident ray and the normal is known as the angle of incidence. Okay. The angle which is formed between the reflected ray and the normal is known as the angle of incidence. And the ray which is formed between the reflected ray and the normal, that is represented by the letter small r, and it is known as the angle of reflection. Okay. I hope you will understand. I just summarize is that when a light is coming from the light box, so the incident ray is coming from the light, and it is when it strike on the mirror, so that point is known as the point of incident, and the ray which coming from the mirror is known as the reflected ray, which comes again comes in the same medium, so that ray is known as the reflected ray. And when we draw the normal or at a perpendicular at the point of incident, so it divides the angle which is formed between the incident ray and reflected ray into two angles. And now we have two angles. The first angle is the angle which is in between the angle of incidence and the normal, and it is known as angle of incidence. And the angle which is formed between the reflected ray and the normal is known as the angle of reflection. Okay. So take a screenshot and we are moving toward the next slide. Now, there are the laws of reflection. Uh, Reflection have to follow some laws, and that is the angle of incidence is equals to the angle of reflection. Okay, the angle of incidence is always equals to the angle of reflection. Means mathematically we can express this: measurement angle I is equals to measurement angle R. Okay. So in a diagram, you can see that measurement angle I must be equal to the measurement angle R, means they both must have a equal measurement. Now the second point, law is the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie in a same plane. So as you can see, so can you tell me what is plane? Plane means a flat surface or a two-dimensional surface. So mirror is a flat two-dimensional surface, and incident ray, reflected ray and normal, all of them are lying a same plane. So these are the two laws which reflect, which is known as laws of reflection. The angle of incidence and the angle of reflection must be equal with each other, and the incident ray, reflected ray and normal all lie in a same plane. So take a screenshot and we are moving toward the next slide, that is regular and irregular reflection. So when the reflection is occurs, so that reflection divide into two types, that is regular and irregular reflection. So regular reflection means when the parallel rays of light strike a smooth and a shiny surface. Like plane mirror, most of them are reflected in a particular direction. This is known as regular and specular reflection. So as you can see that in the diagram, the regular reflection is given. So the parallel beam of light is coming and strike on the plain smooth surface. So the thing which is important for the regular reflection is the plain smooth surface. Okay, without it we cannot find a regular reflection. So when the parallel beams of light is coming from a distance object, it strike on the plane surface and a part of it reflect back in the same medium. So that is known as the regular reflection. Okay, now the irregular reflection. In an irregular reflection, when parallel rays of light strike on a rough surface, so do remember it that rough surface is the main thing which is necessary for the irregular reflection, or which is responsible for the irregular reflection. So, when a parallel beam of light strike on a rough surface, the reflected beam is scattered in different direction. As you can see that a parallel beam of light is coming, and when it is strike on the rough surface, So the reflected rays are scattered at different angles. They are not reflecting with the same angle. They are scattered at the different angle. And that's why we can say that it is a irregular reflection. Okay. In a irregular reflection, a parallel beam of light is coming from a source, and when it strikes on the rough surface, due to the roughness of the surface, the reflected beam is scattered in the different direction. So this is known as irregular reflection. And due to the irregular reflection, we can see the objects around us because there is no definite image form, but the surface become visible. Means due to irregular reflection, non-luminous object become visible. Okay, because light is scattered all around the surroundings, so that's why we can see all other objects due to the irregular reflection. So take a screenshot and we are moving toward the next slide. Now, the spherical mirrors. Here we have to divide this spherical mirror. Uh, First, we have to understand that what is a spherical mirror. So, the spherical mirror may be considered as a section of a hollow sphere. Means we have a big hollow sphere and we take a part from that spheres. And as you can see that in a diagram that we have a big spherical mirror, and when we take a part from a spherical mirror, that orange color indicate some part or some curve from that circle. So we take that part, and there is the two surfaces of that mirror. First is the outer one and the other one is the inner one. So if we polish it from the inner side, okay, if we polish it from the inner side, so that mirror will become a concave mirror. Okay, student, I say that when we polish it on the inner side, so the polished surface is the inner surface. And do remember one thing, that polished surface means the surface where we can see the image. If we talking about the plane mirror and we are standing over a plane mirror, so we can see ourselves. So that part, that side of the mirror is known as the polished surface. Okay, and similarly, when we take a spherical mirror and we polish it from the inner side, means we can see the images on the inner side. So when we polish it from the inner side, so that side will become that mirror will become a concave mirror. Okay, we take a part from a spherical mirror, and when we polish it from the inner side, so that mirror will become a concave mirror. Okay, do remember one thing, that the polished surface means we can see the images from the side, from this side. Okay, reflective surface. Reflective surface means we take another part from the spherical mirror and we polish it from the outer surface. Okay, we polish it from the outer surface, and that spherical mirror will become a convex mirror. Okay, when we take a part from the spherical mirror and we polish it from the outer side. So that outer side will become a reflective surface or a convex mirror. Okay. We have two types of mirror. Spherical mirror, from the spherical mirror we have two types of mirror, concave mirror and the convex mirror. Concave mirror and convex mirror. And how we form a concave mirror and convex mirror? If we take a part from the spherical mirror and we polish it from the inner side, so that side will become a polished side and the mirror is known as the concave mirror. And when we take a part from the spherical mirror and we polish it from the outer side, so that mirror will become a convex mirror. Okay, so the reflective surface is the outer surface, and here in a concave mirror the reflective surface is the inner surface. Okay, I hope you will understand. So take a screenshot and we will move toward the other side. Now the spherical mirror is divided into two mirrors, that is concave mirror and a convex mirror. As I told you that the spherical mirror is a part of a big sphere, and if we take some part of it and we polish it from the inner side, it become a concave, and we polish it from the outer side, it become a convex mirror. Okay, so when we take a part from that spherical mirror and when we polish it from the inner side, so it will become a concave surface. and when we polish it from the outer surface, so it will become a convex surface. So spherical mirror divided into two mirror, that is concave mirror and convex mirror. Inner reflecting surface is concave mirror and the outer reflecting surface is a convex mirror. Okay, take a screenshot and we will move forward the other side. Now, what is the difference between the concave mirror and a convex mirror? As I told you that if the inner side of the surface is polished to reflect light, so it is called a concave mirror. And if the outer side of the surface of this section is polished to reflect light, it is called a convex mirror. Now light converge at a point when it strikes the reflect back from the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. The big difference between the concave mirror and the convex mirror is that you can see in a diagram that when a parallel beams of light is coming from the source which is very far from the object, from the mirror, which is very far from the mirror, so that light strike on the inner surface. Why it strike on the inner surface? Because it is the reflecting surface. So a parallel beam of light will gathered at a point. Okay, all the reflected rays were gathered at a point. Do remember that when we are using a concave mirror, so the parallel beams of light, which are the incidence rays, and when it strike on the mirror, on the concave mirror, so what the concave mirror do with the reflected rays? They converge all the reflected light. They gathered all the reflected light toward a fixed point. Okay, it gathered all the reflected rays to the fixed point. So that's why we say that the concave mirror is the converging mirror. Okay. Why we say concave mirror is a converging mirror? Because after the reflection, concave converge all the lights at a point. So that's why we say that it is a concave mirror is a converging mirror. And now when we are talking about the convex mirror, so similarly, when the rays of light is parallel rays of light is coming from the source or from the object, and it strike the outer reflecting surface, that is a convex mirror. So what the convex mirror do? Convex mirror scattered all the reflected rays. Okay, what the convex mirror do? It diverge, it scattered all the reflected rays. Okay, so that's why we say that convex mirror is the diverging mirror and concave mirror is the converging mirror, because it converged, it gathered all the rays, and the convex mirror diverged or scattered all the reflected rays, and that is the difference between the concave and convex mirror. Okay, so take a screenshot and we are moving toward the next slide. How image form or the image formed by any mirror is located either where the reflected light converge or where the reflected light appears to diverge. There is a difference between the real image. Images are something which is formed after the reflection. Okay, images are the something which is formed after the reflection, after the reflected rays are meet. So what is real image? Real image is always a inverted image. So do you remember one thing about the real image is that real image is always a inverted image. As you can see in a diagram, that real image are formed due to the actual intersection of the reflected rays. As you can see that the yellow arrow represent the object, okay, and two rays are coming from that object, and when it is strike at the different positions on the mirror, so they also reflect at the different positions. But there is one thing, that all the reflected rays, these two rays are the reflected rays. As you can see that first ray is coming and strike on the mirror and it reflect back here, and the second ray is also coming from the mirror and it also reflect back here. So the two reflected rays are meet at a point, and in front of the mirror, these reflected rays are meet at a point in front of the mirror, and you can see that the image is inverted. So that's why we say that it is a real image. Okay, the reflected rays are actually meet in front of the mirror, and that's why the image is always real and inverted. Okay, and the size of the image is depend upon the position of the object, so it is different for the different position of object. So that is known as a real image. Real image is also always inverted. It is always from in front of the mirror, and real image are from on the screen. We can obtain the image on the screen, and screen could be a wall, screen could be a paper, anything. Okay, so we can obtain an image on the screen. Now the virtual image. Virtual image are formed due to the imaginary intersection of the reflected rays. In a convex mirror, virtual image are always formed by the convex mirror, and virtual image are also formed by the concave mirror, but it depends upon the position of the object. And convex lens is a convex mirror is always form a virtual image. Why it always form a virtual image? Because as you can see that here is a yellow object, show the object, yellow arrow show the object, and when the rays of light is coming from that light and strike on the mirror, so it reflect light in a different direction. And similarly, when the ray of light is coming and strike on the mirror, it is also reflect in a different direction. But when we uh, when we enlarge the reflected rays of light at the back of the mirror, so they meet at a point at the back side of the mirror. Do remember that the reflected rays, after extending it meet at a point behind the mirror. Okay, they are not actually meet in front of the mirror, they are meet at at behind the mirror, and they are not actually meet, they are appear to meet at behind the mirror, and that's why the image is always erect. Okay, the image is always erect. So virtual image is the image which is erect, it is formed behind the mirror, and virtual image appear to be on the lens or the mirror itself. Okay, we can, it's mean we cannot obtain it on from the on a screen. Means virtual image cannot be obtained on the screen because it is formed on the mirror itself, and it is formed due to the due to the appeared intersection of the reflected rays behind the mirror. So take a screenshot, and we are moving toward the slide. That is the important terms which are related to the spherical mirror. Here are some terms which are related to the spherical mirror. As we have discussed some terms which is related toward the law of reflections. Similarly, when we are talking about this spherical mirror, so here we also have to understand some terms which are associated with the spherical mirror. And that terms are center of curvature. The first one is the center of curvature. So what is center of curvature? It is the center of a sphere from which reflecting surface is obtained. It is the center of the sphere from which the reflecting surface is obtained. Means center of curvature is the center of that sphere. Center of curvature is the center of that sphere which from which the mirror is a part. Okay, it is the center of the that sphere which from which the mirror is a part. So that center is known as the center of curvature. As you can see, I indicated by the cursor that it here is the center of curvature, and we represent it by a letter C. Okay, and we represent it by a letter C. So here is the point of center of curvature. Now, what is the radius of curvature? As you can see that it is a radius, so it's mean it is a length, it is a distance, and it is a straight line drawn from the center of curvature to the reflecting curved surface. As you can see that the distance from the center of curvature to the pole of the mirror. And what is the pole of the mirror? Pole of the mirror means the geometrical center of the spherical mirror. As you can see, we represent the pole by O, and we can also represent the pole by a letter P. So the geometrical center of a mirror, the geometrical center of a concave mirror is known as a pole. And what is radius? Radius is the distance from the pole to the center of curvature. As you can see that I show it by my cursor that the distance between the center of curvature to the pole. So that is the length that is the distance which is known as radius of curvature. Okay, that is the distance which is represented by which is known as radius of curvature. Now the second point is pole. Pole means the vertex is the geometrical center of the curved surface. The geometrical center of the curved surface is known as pole. The principal axis is the straight line passing through the center of curvature in the pole. As you can see that there is a straight line which is passing through the pole, and it is passing through the center of curvature and a focal length. So that line is known as the principal axis. Principal axis is the straight line passing through the center of curvature and the pole. Okay, so it is a straight line which is passing through the center of curvature and a pole. Now, the second point is principal focus. As I told you that when we are dealing with the concave mirror, so the concave mirror converges the reflected rays at a one point, and that point is known as the principal focus. Okay, as I told you that after reflection from the concave mirror, all the reflected rays are gathered at a one point, and that point is known as the principal focus. Now, and we represent that point by a capital F. We represent that point by a capital F. As you can see that the distance from that principal focus to the pole, and what is pole? Pole is the geometrical center of the mirror. So the distance from the focus to the pole is considered as a focal length. And do remember that is again, it is a distance, it is a length. Okay. So the distance from the principal focus to the pole is known as a focal length. Okay. It is known as a focal length. And the point where the reflected rays are gathered, at a point, so that point is known as the principal focus, and the distance between the principal focus to the pole of the mirror is known as the focal length. Okay, so student, we have a formula for the focal length, and focal length is equals to r over 2, and here r is the center of curvature, means focal length is half of the radius of curvature. From the pole to the C, the distance from the pole to the center of curvature is the radius of curvature, and the distance from the pole to the principal focus is the focal length. So focal length is half of the radius of curvature. That's why we write F is equals to R over 2. Now, the basic rules that are followed by the rays reflected from a concave mirror. As you can see that when the rays are coming from the object, so it also reflects back through the principal focus. If it comes parallel to the principal axis, so what is principal axis? The length, the distance from the pole to the center of curvature, or the line which is passing through the center of curvature, through the principal focus and the optical center. This is known as principal axis. If the light is coming from the parallel to the principal axis, it passes through the principal focus. And again, the second rule is when the light is coming from the principal focus, means when the rays of light is coming through the principal focus, so it reflects back as a parallel to the principal axis. As you can see that light is coming through the principal focus, it passed through the principal focus. So after reflecting, after striking on the concave mirror, it will come parallel with the principal axis. Now, similarly, if the light rays is coming through the center of curvature, as you can see that light is coming through the center of curvature and it strike on the concave mirror, so it again comes back again with the same path. Okay, when the light is coming through the center of curvature, so it again comes back to through the same path, same line. Okay, so the second point is that if the incident ray it makes some angle with the principal axis, so after striking on the mirror, it comes back with the same refracted angle. It again come back with the same refractive angle, means angle of incidence will always equals to the angle of reflection. So here we have discussed four rules that follow the light, that if it is parallel, it goes back through the principal focus. If it is coming through the principal focus, so it reflect as a parallel rays of light. And when it coming from the center of curvature, it again come back through the same path. And when it makes some angle with the principal axis, so after striking, it always reflect back with the same angle as the angle of incidence. I hope you will understand that what are the rules, that are the rules which are followed by the light when it strike on a concave mirror. So take a screenshot and we are moving toward the home task. Define reflection of light. State the laws of reflection. Okay, define reflection of light and state the laws of reflection. You can find the answer from the books as well as from the summary, and in the slides we have also shared you the definition of reflection of light, and we also have discussed you the laws of reflection. Now, question number 2, what is meant by the regular and irregular reflection? Okay, you can write it as the difference between the regular and irregular reflection, and you can also write the definitions of regular and irregular reflections. Now, differentiate between the real and virtual image. Try to write 3 points. Define the following terms: center of curvature, radius of curvature, principal focus, principal axis, focal length, and magnification. So leave the magnification. Center of curvature, radius of curvature, principal focus, principal axis, and focal length. These are the points, which these are the terms which you have to define. Okay. So these take a screenshots of this slide, and it is all from my side.